Hungarian Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade Szijjarto is on a working visit in Kazakhstan, a vacation in the world of diplomacy during the global pandemic. This prompts a strong government support to the increased interest of the businesses of the two countries to boost economic ties despite the challenges of the COVID-19 crisis. Minister Szijjarto has agreed to sit down with me for an interview to discuss the status and prospects of the Kazakh-Hungarian relations. Mr. Szijjarto, welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Mr. Szijjarto, the relations between Hungary and Kazakhstan are seen as a strategic partnership. There is enough legal framework for cooperation, and the relations are built on the activities of multiple entities, including the Strategic Council, the intergovernmental commissions, as well as the interparliamentary friendship groups. The ties also feature a good amount of frequent state and official visits. What is the purpose of your visit this time, and what expectations do you have from the visit?
Well, actually, today we have a very important event. We are opening the representation of the Hungarian Exim Bank here in Nur-Sultan, which is going to be a very important step towards further improving the economic and business-to-business cooperation between Kazakhstan and Hungary. When it comes to two countries so far away of each other geographically speaking, you need to fulfill some preconditions in order to enable the businesses on both sides to work together, to cooperate, to make business and then take advantage of the good political relations. And one of these preconditions is definitely the financial background. Hungarian Exim Bank has opened a credit line of $170 million, which serve exclusively the goal of improved B2B cooperation between Kazakh and Hungarian companies, be it simple export-import transactions, be it forming joint ventures or placing bids for tenders on the markets of third countries. And the representation of Exim Bank today to be open here in the International Financial Center is a very important step to help our companies to step on the Kazakh market and to help the Kazakh companies to get information about cooperation in and within Hungary and helping them with the necessary assistance. On the other hand, we are further improving our relationship with the Turkic Council. Our relationship to Kazakhstan was one of the reasons why we joined this organization. Today we are strengthening the relationship between the International Turkic Academy. And in the meantime, we are launching the Hungarian language course on the Eurasian National University here, which we understand is the leading higher education institution of your esteemed country. And after a decision of launching the Hungarian lectorate, we will delegate here a Hungarian teacher who will deal with those Kazakh students who applied for scholarship in Hungary. And thanks God there are more and more of them. We provide 250 scholarships for Kazakh students on an annual basis on the Hungarian universities. And this year there were almost 1,500 applicants, which fact shows that there's ever-growing interest on behalf of the Kazakh students to come to study in Hungary, which is good news.
Well, these are wonderful developments. Let's talk about economic and trade ties here. The two countries for the past 25 years have built stable trade ties. In 2019, the total trade turnover was over $102 million US, although there's been a decrease in the recent years. And in 2019, Prime Ministers Asghar Maimin and Viktor Orban have agreed to use the full potential of mutual trade. And of course, the pandemic has been a big blow to these aspirations and efforts. Where does the economic relationship stand at the moment?
Look, actually, we can share great news with your viewers in this regard as well, putting into consideration that regardless of the backslash of global trade last year by 9%, Kazakhstan and Hungary were able to increase the trade volume between the two countries by 58% within 1 year, and within a very bad year for international economy. So in 2010, our trade volume has increased to $165 million, mostly based on the increase of Hungarian exports when it comes to pharmaceutical, livestock, and chemical industry products. You know, healthcare sector, I mean pharmaceutical sector, plays a huge role here, given the fact that the biggest Hungarian pharmaceutical company has been present here in Kazakhstan for 25 years already. They employ more than 100 staff. They are present in all regions of your wonderful country. They rank number 18 when it comes to market share of the pharmaceutical sector, and they have 98 pharmaceutical products, medicines in the commercial cycle. So the Hungarian pharmaceutical products are looked after in your market to a big extent. On the other hand, the biggest Hungarian company, which is an oil and gas company, which is the biggest investor on behalf of Hungary in Kazakhstan as well, has invested more than $200 million already in gas research and exploitation. Hopefully these efforts will be finalized and completed by satisfactory results in the block which is called Fedorovsky, and there your state-owned gas company and the Chinese Sinopec are partners for our Hungarian company. On the other hand, when it comes to food industry and agriculture, the delivery of Hungarian livestock has been continuous in the recent years. There are negotiations about further expanding the scope of our relationship when it comes to seeds and other food industry products. So what I can tell you is that I'm accompanied by a Hungarian business delegation here, 8 Hungarian companies who are very much interested in further improving their presence on the Kazakh market. And this morning we had more than 20 Kazakh companies coming to negotiate with them. So I think here we have some good hopes to further improve.
These are wonderful, wonderful news. You've just mentioned that you're here with a big business delegation, and business activities have expanded here in Kazakhstan, and there is interest from the Hungarian investors. What do you see as or perhaps what do they see, the businessmen, as one of the challenges of doing business here in Kazakhstan?
Well, look, geography is a challenge, but we cannot change that. So the distance between the two countries is big, but connectivity can win over distance. So that's why it's very important that the direct air connection between Nur-Sultan and Budapest will be relaunched in June, since it has been stopped because of the pandemic. Company Wizz Air, which now operates more flights from Nur-Sultan to the Gulf area as well, has been operating the flight between Nur-Sultan and Budapest, and they will relaunch it in June. And they are considering to launch flight between Beijing and Budapest with a stopover here in Nur-Sultan. And as they are upgrading their fleet, buying new aircrafts with longer capacity, they will consider a new flight between Budapest and Almaty to be launched as well. So actually the challenge of distance and geography, I think, can be managed through these business decisions by the airline of Hungarians.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we talk about the diplomatic ties between the two countries spanning almost 30 years, the embassies of both countries are pretty active. There are a number of honorary councils that are representing the interests of respective countries. Last year, yourself and Kazakh Foreign Minister Mukhtar Tlyubirdi agreed to collaborate in training diplomats. That was one of the initiatives. What are some other achievements that you see as some of the major milestones?
Look, the political relationship between the two countries during the recent 29 years since we have established diplomatic relations, and we will commemorate the 30th anniversary next year, and hope some further results and successes will be attached to that. Basically, we can say that we have no open issues. No open issues, no debates, no concerns. And the major reason for that is that both countries show respect to the other. And if you are able to base your foreign policy relations on mutual respect, then you can be pretty successful. We do not interfere into domestic issues of each other. We don't think we should judge each other. We don't think that we should share opinion about the domestic issues of the others, because it's not our business. So we only concentrate on improving the bilateral relations, and we leave the domestic issues to each other. And this mutual respect gave a very good path for the improvement of diplomatic relations in the recent years. Additionally to that, our leaders have been enjoying a very good relationship based on mutual respect. Again, your leader enjoys a respect in Hungary, and his leadership was very important in the recent years to improve our relationship to a strategic level. 7 years ago, we have signed the agreement on elevating our relationship to a strategic level. And our very good relationship to Kazakhstan played a huge role when it comes to joining the organization of the Turkic-speaking countries, where we are observers now. We take it very seriously, because you know, we have been considered as the most Western Easterners and the most Eastern Westerners in the meantime. We have a common heritage. We have some common points in our history. We have been, you know, identified as the successors of Attila. So it's not a surprise that sometimes we are being called brothers here in this region, and we take it very seriously as well. You know, we Hungarians have a very unique language. We are living like kind of an island in Central Europe, because we don't belong to any big language families. Our language operates like a secret code, you know, and no one understands, and we don't understand the others. But we definitely have some common heritage with countries speaking Turkic language. So we put a lot of emphasis on that. We have opened the European representation headquarters of the Turkic Council in Budapest. All of the member states of the Council have delegated their own diplomats, experts to the Budapest office, where we are happy to host them. And we are happy that the Budapest headquarters now plays an important role when it comes to preparing the strategic agenda and strategy or strategic outlook of the Turkic Council by 2040. And we are also happy that the preparation of the Turkic Investment Fund is partly with the Budapest headquarters as well.
Now, the cultural affinity based on the historical ties that you have mentioned may be the reason why there is an increased interest among the Kazakh travelers and among the Kazakh students wanting to go to Hungary. And academic exchanges, student exchanges, as well as tourism have been hit hard by the pandemic. When do you forecast these relations to pick up and the visa issuance procedures to be restored to their pre-pandemic sort of status and condition?
Well, that's of crucial importance for us, given the fact that tourism has a share of around 10% of GDP in Hungary. Budapest is a highly prioritized, let's say, a holiday destination or tourism destination for many travelers in the world, not only in Europe. For example, that's why we are pushing Brussels towards a visa facilitation agreement with Kazakhstan in order to allow Kazakhstani people to come to visit sites, cities and people in Europe, including in Hungary. We think that vaccination is the key. So when it comes to reopening, it's obvious that vaccination will play the major role. We have made a strategic decision in Hungary back in November. So far, we are the first and only European country, European Union member state, which has approved the use of Eastern vaccines as well. We bought Chinese and Russian vaccines for 3.5 million Hungarian people to be vaccinated. So we are the only ones in Europe using Western and Eastern vaccines in the meantime. This has put us on the top of the European ranking list of proportionate vaccination. Today we reached 2.5 million Hungarians to be vaccinated out of 8.5 million adults in the country. This is well above 25% of rate of vaccination. By the end of this month, we will completely vaccinate everybody who have registered for vaccination. And as soon as our population is going to be protected, we will be, with a good chance, the first country in Europe to open up again. It must have a very positive impact on tourism, definitely. Our hotels and restaurants suffer a lot. They have been basically closed since November. But now, as we will give protection through vaccination for our people, we will have the chance to reopen. And then we will have the chance to welcome again tourists in Hungary, including Kazakh people.
Mr. Szijjarto, the pandemic has been an unprecedented disruption to our social systems and to our economies. It has revealed some of the weaknesses in governance and has been a threat to public health. How has the government, led by Prime Minister Viktor Orban, fared during the pandemic, and how are the Hungarian people doing and feeling at the moment?
Well, we understood at the very beginning that the pandemic constitutes not only a healthcare-related challenge, but an economic challenge as well. So apart from making the decision to buy vaccines from the East as well, we have made a decision to put together a robust package of economic assistance as well. So instead of distributing money on a social basis, we have decided to implement a robust investment incentive action plan, through which we told the companies in Hungary that in case they invest in technology and capacity and they avoid layoffs, then we are ready to pay for the half of their investment. And more than 1,400 Hungarian companies have taken part in this program. 270,000 jobs were saved through this program. $5.5 billion have been invested. So basically this decision of ours has brought a huge investment record in the country, through which we were able to help our economy not only to survive, but even to get stronger through this period of time. So I think the key was to identify at the very beginning that the pandemic does not constitute a risk regarding healthcare, but a risk regarding the economy as well.
Last but not least, are you a football fan?
Yeah, I can say, yeah, definitely.
Okay, and have you been to the last match held between Hungary and Kazakhstan?
I watched in television, to be honest.
And your impressions?
Well, we respect those nations which are ready to, let's say, as we say in Hungarian, put their soul on the field, which means that they are ready to fight until the very last moment. And as far as we understood from the Kazakh football team, they are such kind of fighters on the field, and we respect that pretty much. We have followed, of course, Team Astana playing in the Champions League, which brought some respect as well. no question. And we understood that when it comes to indoor football, you are even more successful. So we definitely follow what has been happening here, and we hope that our teams will have the chance soon to meet again.
Szijjarto, thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it as well.